Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the GAIA Daily for April 16th, 17th, 2020. How are you doing? Well, we are coming to the end of this big crux period of time, these last few days, where we have had the sun in square to Pluto and Jupiter. We're going to be feeling this through Saturday. And then Mercury has been conjunct going over Chiron, Black Moon, Lilith, and we'll be feeling that just for the next day or so as well. So this is kind of this culmination energy of what's been going on astrologically as the sun, a personal planet, who we think we are, our identity coming into this powerful square with Pluto and then Jupiter. This is bringing home into our daily, everyday life, the global and big, more cosmic situation. And aren't we feeling that? So, this is, the moon is in Aquarius today. And so with Mars in Aquarius, we are speaking to how do we move into this new energy? How do we move into this new age? And of course, this Jupiter in Capricorn conjunct this Pluto in Capricorn conjunct Jupiter, and then that conjunction with Saturn that happened in January, all about this, about the breakdown of the structures of the old guard, of the old world that are no longer serving us. We cannot move forward. Now, the thing about Pluto is it's not just a breakdown, it's a rebuild, right? And so we've got Saturn there at 1 degree Aquarius, dabbling his feet in the Aquarian energy, except for that Saturn's the first one of these big players that are the 2020 astrology in Capricorn to move over into Aquarius. But Saturn wants to build, but it needs a very solid structure, and it needs to know, like, he wants to feel the ground under his feet, right? And in Aquarius, it's kind of like, well, I don't know where the ground is, right? And this is a Saturn in Aquarius for us right now, because dabbling at 1 degree there, and Saturn represents our structured reality, our relationship to time, the rules and laws of our world. And the Aquarian energy is not going by the rules, right? And so Saturn's kind of like, what's going on? And we can feel this energy as we are in such a strange time and tapping into the current climate. It's like, where's the ground under my feet? Where is my relationship to time, especially since our whole world has been completely disrupted in this current situation? So with Saturn and Mars, so the moon in Aquarius today interacting with Mars in Aquarius, and Mars is, of course, our action planet, our warrior, wants to go and get on with this, except for that we have some real issues in the structures, the problems of our world, the way we're doing things financially, educationally, as an example, healthcare, and basically the domination and control of keeping humanity as slaves, right? It's gone on for thousands of years, but it's been subtle for a lot of people, right? For humanity, it's subtle. Now it's coming to be very obvious. And that has been the energy of these last few days, of people being like, wait a minute, something doesn't add up in this situation. And that feeling of being confused, right? That feeling is when you're like, I cannot figure out, something's not right. I can't figure out what's going on. That is a sign that you're being manipulated. And this is kind of where humanity's at right now. Right? It's getting harder and harder to turn a blind eye to the control energies. Because it's like, wait a minute, right? And it's like the natural human tendency, especially the way we've been so comatose, put to sleep, right? Is to just be like, well, it's okay, just go on with life, right? And it's like, you can't go on with life. You're not allowed to leave your house right now, right? So it's like, we're having a breakdown in the fundamental structures of what it means to be human on planet Earth, right? And we souls are there on the cutting edge, leading the way over the threshold. And so this is what this astrology has been about in the last couple of days. Now, this has a lot to do with Venus in Gemini. And so Venus is in Gemini, and getting ready for a retrograde. And Gemini is our conceptual reality. It's ruled by Mercury, right? But Gemini is the twins. So it's like always trying to understand, see the other side of the view. And there's a lot of kind of energy of confusion in Gemini, right? Or I can go this way, I can go that way. And so this Venus retrograde in Gemini is a lot about sorting out. Humanity has to come to some truths. Gemini is a mutable sign, right? So it's adjusting our thinking. And that has to do with facing some of these things that have been easily disregarded and now are right in our face, right? Now, I think this also has to do with Neptune moving to new territory at 20 degrees. Big shift there on this new moon in Taurus on Wednesday. And that, when Neptune going to 20 degrees is definitely bringing forward an energy of like 20/20 vision, right? Like seeing through the delusions of the Piscean age. Now, the Piscean age, an age lasts 2,160 years. And it's like, I'm kind of starting to see that the Piscean age was like a bloom of the control energies that have been going on for thousands and thousands of years, right? But the Piscean age was kind of like the dark ages where you can like really see it looking back. Maybe they couldn't see it at the time so much. I'm sure they could, but it's like, the control, religious control. And if you don't think the way we want you to think, then, we're going to kill you or whatever. And that's the dark ages, the darkness of the shadow of the Piscean age. So it's like right now we're in a bloom of the Piscean age. And the Piscean age was like a bloom of the whole last this whole Earth evolution back to Atlantean time. These energies have been in control, keeping humanity as slaves. And so we've been kind of going along, thinking that just kind of, oh, it's okay, it's okay. And now really hard not to see that something weird is going on. So that has to do with that Venus about to turn retrograde, and Venus turns direct in July, I believe, or maybe comes out of its shadow. So we're in this place of rearranging our thinking, and Venus is what we love, what we care about, what makes us feel good, like having our basic needs and feeling safe and warm and loved. And that's really interesting, right? Because it's like going along with the system, going along with the programming, going along with the comatose sleep of the technology has put us into, that is not going to keep us comfortable, right? Unless we want to give up all of our freedoms and become a robot and become part of the lower matrix, right? And so it's an interesting place for Venus in Gemini with a retrograde staying there for so long. And it's like, in order to be comfortable in this world, we're going to have to change our thinking. And it's not fun, right? So, but what's going on? So we've had this bloom of this intensity over these last few days because we had the moon in Capricorn, and now the moon's in Aquarius going over Mars, kind of saying, what are we really doing here? And there's a really sweet energy going on as we come off of that Sun square Pluto and Jupiter. And that Mercury conjunct Chiron, Black Moon, Lilith. And that's kind of like Mercury, coming into these hard truths that are reality. Mercury in Aries saying, I want to break free from the chains of the mind control. And now we have a really sweet energy through the weekend that I think we really need to take advantage of and look at, because what's happening is that Mars is in Aquarius. Now, this whole month, Mars has been in a very sweet trine with Venus. Now, it's interesting because they don't come exactly into trine, and they won't do that until September, after Venus is retrograde and Mars starts its retrograde. So, but for the whole month of April, they're like 1 degree apart in this trine, and it's about seeing the other side of the story. It's about reaching across the line. It's about humanity coming together and saying, wait a minute, this divide and conquer, this like the other is the bad thing. That's a very old story that's kept us asleep. And so when we're angry at each other and fighting each other, then we don't see the common enemy, which is the control energies, right? And now it's like, ooh, we gotta look beyond these stories, right? Humanity come together and know we all want the same thing in the end, And So it's a very powerful energy. Also individually, a healing of relationships, a healing, maybe breaking through. Maybe this opportunity is giving us that opportunity to break through the cold, hard, fake intimacy of social media, coming back in our heart to connection, real, true connection. Um, in within ourselves, stopping the battle of beating ourselves up, right? Of the self-hatred, the right and the left self-hatred, and the male and the female, and coming back to that sacred marriage within. So this is kind of the energy of this, of a really sweet Mars and Aquarius. So that's kind of what's needed to really move into the Aquarian age, and what's available for us in the higher octave of the Aquarian age. Technologies that makes it easier for us to love each other and the earth, finally being used in the right way instead of being used against us, right? So, of course, then we have to come into a disclosure of these technologies and these truths in order to benefit and move into this golden age of the next chapter that humanity is trying to get to. But Mars and Aquarius is saying, let's do this, and trying to Venus. Now, right in between those is Mercury in for this weekend, in Aries. And so Mercury is like kind of making this beautiful star pattern. So 3 sextiles in a row, and that's creating that star pattern, that flower of life energy that we've been having here and there, dotting our sky, the planets lining up for us ever since November, December. And it's kind of like this is coming back again, being like, you guys, this is about a bigger, wider cosmic thing. This is a spiritual awakening. This is the divine timeline landing in. This is something way beyond what we can imagine. Now, that's where you guys come in, right? These soul groups are here to hold that energy, to step over the threshold, to be the leaders into this new paradigm by simply allowing your vibration to rise. And then we've talked about how that the Pluto in Capricorn, like clinging to the old ship, it's because it's what it makes you feel secure, right? But you've got to let go of that old broken ship in order to be caught and held by these new energies. And this is kind of the energy of, I'm going to be doing a meditation, the information to sign up for below, another meditation on Saturday, same time as the last couple weeks at noon Mountain Time. And this is Return to the Mother. So it's like this last couple of degrees of the North Node in Cancer. And with these activation energies and the fear energies and the control energies, what seems to happen is we lift up off of the earth and out of our root chakra, right? It's all an attack on our root. And of course, these souls kind of feel like that too. Like, what in the heck am I doing on this planet, right? Like frustration over what's going on. And like you're doing your best, you're trying to clear your karma, you're trying to lighten your load, you're trying to hold the light, and like, what? And it's like bringing up all these feelings. This has to do, I think, with Sagittarius, the South Node moving into Sagittarius, and where we've felt like we couldn't complete our spiritual mission in past lives. And this feeling of like, okay, is this really happening? Are we really being pulled into like mass vaccinations and microchips, and like you have to prove it to travel? Is that really happening? Because I'm out of here. Like humanity, I'm out, dog, right? And yet these souls, this is why you're here, and we can't leave until we actually arrive, right? So the energy right now is about, as much as you want to escape and you want to get out of here, and I know you felt that for a very long time, both the ascension energies, the higher frequency vibrations that are really the cause of this whole thing, and what the control energies are trying to stop by keeping us all depressed and scared, right? But those energies and the fear energies both attack the root chakra, and both make us feel subconsciously like you'll lift up off the earth. Like the ascension energies do the same thing, because there's all this fear programming that the higher frequency vibrations aren't safe for the earth. We have to have some sort of catastrophe or earth changes, but that's not what we're doing here. The reason why it's taken so long is because we're going with the earth together. We are consciously changing the earth and our bodies into light. And the earth is like, yeah, if you really tap into her right now, she's like, yeah, this is awesome. It's all good, right? And that's what this meditation is about. It's about and because the North Node Cancer finishing up, it's like, can we receive? Can we come back into a loving relationship with our world, a loving relationship with each other, a loving relationship with our earth, that she's here to hold us and love us through this? And the Great Mother. So the earth is a representation of the Great Mother, the cosmic energies trying to hold us through this experience. And yet, if we're just going to disconnect and escape and get into the frenzy, then we're missing the point of this whole thing, right? So the shift into the Aquarian age is about coming back home to first arriving on earth, right? And that's where it's like you souls are so big in your light, you're only partially here. And it's time to arrive deep into the truth of who you are, and let the mother hold you and come back together and feel that we're held and loved in this, even though there's this play of control energies. you know um, what we're here to do is lead the way into the new vibrations and to feel safe in those new vibrations and to claim this connection back through our root. So that is a powerful energy. So maybe you can make that meditation. There's also the live activation for the new moon in Taurus on Wednesday. And so maybe I will see you there or on the next update tomorrow. But just know that this lining up that we're having right now is a message to us that there's a way, way, way bigger thing, more cosmically beautiful. This is a cosmic blessings trying to land in our life, you know, um, going on. What's really happening with this sextile configuration, because we've got Mars in Aquarius, and then in the middle Mercury in Aries, and then Venus in Gemini, all lining up this weekend in that sweet star pattern. And Mercury is the fast mover. So actually Mercury comes into a semi-sextile with Uranus and Taurus, and then a semi-sextile with Neptune in Pisces right after this. So it's this really beautiful star pattern, and it's kind of like, hey, you guys, this is about the cosmic blessings trying to come in. This is about us as humanity trying to take our rightful place back into our galactic family and come back into, out of this draconian control thing that's been going on for far too long. But we need a bloom of this energy. This is kind of the shift we're at with Venus and Gemini. It's like it's getting really hard. This is the last few days with these intense transits. It's like it's getting hard. And these are our personal planets too, right? So these transits, the Sun square Pluto and Jupiter, and then Mercury conjunct Chiron and Black Moon Lilith, we've been feeling for the last few days. It's our personal planets, the Sun and Mercury. So it's landing home, right? It's like, oh, well, that's just some big thing happening out there. It's like, no. It's right in front of your face now. And it's getting harder and harder to turn a blind eye to the control energy, right? And that's why we're going through this. So we can have this mass great awakening and see the truth through the lies, which is really hard right now. But everything is about this. Is like humanity can no longer pretend and just go along with the program. It's landing home in your everyday life. And so it's getting harder and harder to turn a blind eye to these agendas, to these dark agendas. And that's kind of, I guess, necessary. So maybe that can help us over these next few days to really receive the blessings of this cosmic star pattern of reaching out beyond the lower play of the events and knowing that this is a cosmic event. And there's so much energy out there with their attention on us, their support on us, the cosmic forces that are in alignment with the one principle and supporting us if we can get out of the soup and allow ourselves to get into that higher vibration and know that this is part of the energy of this North Node in Cancer and the meditation this weekend, returning to the mother. It's like I'm seeing this picture of we birthing new humanity, right? We've been talking about this, and this is the crowning. It's like the transition that comes right before the crowning, which is like where everybody thinks they're dying, mother and baby, and they're going insane. and then the crowning happens where you can see, oh, there's a baby in there. There's a reason why this is happening, right? But a lot of times the crown will happen, the head starts to come through, and then it'll pop back out, right? And this is where we're at. It's like, can we birth it? Or are we going to go back to the old? Are we stuck in the middle? Are we stuck in the purgatory between the Piscean age and the Aquarian age? And then the crown of the baby coming through. Now, if you've been in at a live birth or a death, same energy, right? There's like this palpable presence of divine angelic energies, right? you know? And that's where we're at. This is what the stars are asking us to be welcome to receive right now, this divine revelation, this lining up of our personal planets, right? So it's Mars, Mercury, Venus. These are our day-to-day planets, and it's the cosmos coming down into our life, shining those stars, maybe Comet Atlas, bringing these higher vibrational frequencies and saying, hey, humanity, you have been carrying the burden. You have been told it's all your fault. You have been so controlled and lied to. You've been oppressed, especially these light worker souls trying to bring the healing, trying to bring us into this new age. And it's like, take off those burdens and step across into the cosmic love that's waiting for you, right? And so that feeling of once the baby, the crown happens and then it goes back in, and that's the most painful, most intense part, right? Of the crowning of the birth. And that's where we're coming to and where we're at. But once that baby comes out, it's like, of course, the mother all through birth is going, I am never doing this again. Like, don't let me ever do this again. And as soon as she has that baby in her arms, she's like, oh yeah, when can I do it again? Right. It's like, that's where we're at, where it might all be worth it in the end, like way worth it. Right. So for you souls that have been feeling like, get me the heck off this planet. I can't believe this is happening. And I've been here doing all this work for so long, trying to hold it together without any support, without any validation. And now this, right. And it's like, yeah, because you're here to lead the way. You are the rebirth. You are the second coming. You are the embodiment. And so it's like this birth happening, and that feeling where it's like the mystical, magical revelation also happens when a soul leaves the body at death, and you'll feel this palpable energy in the room of like the cosmos, the stars, the angels right there with us. That's what this configuration is trying to say to us right now. Like, hey, up above all of these weird manipulation, and you can't figure out what's going on, and the panic and hysteria and fear on so many levels, up beyond that, this is a cosmic occurrence, right? A spiritual occurrence. And you're here to embody that energy. And again, it's like, we can't get out of this place. You won't want to get out of here once we move into these energies, because you'll be like, these new energies are here to support you, because you've been in this kind of limping along in lower dimensional frequencies, squeezing your big star self, right? So you're going to feel good. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel supported and held. And it's like, so it'll all be worth it. But it's like this, you have to recognize this moment in time where you're like, want to give up and you want to leave this planet. And you've always kind of wanted to leave, even though you love the planet so much. But it's like, we cannot go anywhere until we fully arrive, and it will be worth it. And you won't want to go anywhere, right? There's a lineup of souls who wanted to be here right now. And you're kind of like, okay, right? But that's kind of the deal. And here you are on the front lines. You can step over and receive the cosmic blessings and let this lower play happen. And this is also finally your validation of who you are and your soul purpose, your path, coming into formation in front of you, your connection with your soul group. So let's come together and celebrate that energy, come back to the Great Mother, come back to that connection with the divine feminine, and celebrate this cosmic birth for humanity this weekend on that world meditation. If you can make it, if you can't make it live in your time zone, know that we're working outside of time. The energy is encoded in the meditation. You can get it when you can. So thanks so much for being on the journey and bringing your energy and sticking with this. It's going to be worth it in the end, and we'll be celebrating together. So I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update or the meditation or the activation. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.